Hi guys. So Scott and I decided, well, I decided and pulled Scott in to do some of these collaborations. So we're going to work on that. And the first one is about why we decided to homestead. So question number one, what inspired you to start homesteading? I think when we lived in Parma and I was making gardens in the backyard and on our porch and everything, and we both found out that we'd much prefer to live in the country.
Well, I preferred that long.
Well, I know, but I mean, we both realized that we were on the same page as far as
you've always had the yearning that you've wanted to live the Angles lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I grew up in rural areas, worked on farms, and that since I was a young kid, and I mean that's the way I grew up. And I mean that's I find myself very uncomfortable and just unsettled trying to live in urban areas. I'm just not used to it, and I'm just not comfortable that way.
Well, I grew up in the suburbs of Cleveland, and I always wanted to live on a farm. I mean, I think initially what inspired me to start homesteading would have been Laura Ingalls Wilder. Reading the Little House books. I mean, seriously, I mean, of course everybody reads these books and they fantasize and everything, but I knew that's what I should have been doing. I should have been born to a farming family. But I think in Parma, when we started looking for houses and stuff, I had started, like I said, I had started the gardens in the back and growing stuff up front. And we lived in a neighborhood where we'd be sitting in our dining room with our windows open and eating dinner, and we could hear the neighbor next door on his phone because, I mean, we only had a very narrow driveway separating us. And so we had decided we were going to start looking for houses in the country. And I had started, like, baking our own bread, and
you were starting to develop your skills very well.
Canning, and you know, I already did a lot of other stuff like sewing and quilting and gardening and stuff. So we wanted desperately to get out of the city.
Yes.
So that's what really, I think, you know, when we started talking about it, we were getting Mother Earth magazine, and I had never been in a position where I could seriously consider doing it in the past. My first husband, he would have gone, but he wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have had to do everything. And the fact that, you know, when Scott and I started dating and we, you know, were talking and stuff and finding out that we were so like-minded about so many things that were so important to us about who we are and who we want to be and who we would like our children, how we would like our children to grow up, that we just knew that that's what we had to do.
Yeah.
We had to get out of the city and get back into the country. Well, you get back. I had to go for the first time.
Yeah.
So, what inspired us to start homesteading? Very strong desire to get back to the land.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, it was something that was you always felt in you, and it was something I had taken myself away from, and just wasn't liking where I was at, and so I wanted to get back to it most definitely.
Okay. Number 2, are you completely off grid, or do you have some modern conveniences?
No, we are at this point on grid.
For electric.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as connections to the system, we are connected at this time. I mean, we do hope and plan to make changes to, make ourselves more independent. Having solar systems, wind generation, those are things in the future. But at this point right now, I mean, we do have backup generator and that kind of stuff as well. That's actually what we started with. So until we got the electrical feed into the property, so I mean, we do have that capability as backup still. But at this point, yes, we are tied. I mean,
we're going to be off grid with the water. We're going to get a cistern.
Well, we're going to have our own water system.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we use propane for our stove.
Right.
So the only way we're tied to the grid is through the electric. And I don't know, I mean, if you would consider internet.
Yes. It's a grid tie. Well, I don't know. So typically it's electrical, which is grid. I mean, heating. I mean, we use wood. So, I mean, there's what the exact definition of what that is. I'm sure many people say many different things, but I mean, at this time, we are not off grid. We are not. We are grid tied at this time.
But we plan to be in the future.
Yeah, or at least have capability, and so we don't have to pay utility bills. So.
Okay. Number 3, do you have a garden? If so, is it raised or in ground? No.
Not yet.
We are on raw land right now. But this isn't our first homestead.
No.
We have had a very large garden.
We've had regular in-ground gardens. We've had raised bed gardens. We've had herb gardens.
Spiral.
So, yeah.
Herb spirals. We've had straw bale gardens. We've had container gardens.
Yep.
We've tried a lot of it.
Yep.
As soon as the weather makes it possible, we will start clearing the land for a garden. We are planning on doing Back to Eden.
Yep.
But I kind of want to do, I mean, we're going to have different gardens. I want to have some raised Back to Eden gardens, and then some field gardens, I guess you could call it. Is that what you would call it? And then I plan on doing a whole big garden, herb garden, and a flower garden up front. And of course, this is like years in the making.
Well, plans.
Yeah, but yes.
We haven't even been here a year yet, so I mean,
no.
we're just scratching the surface on this property right now, and so I mean, but that's we're like Leslie said. I mean, we've been here before. We've done this. We know what we're looking at.
We're not newcomers to
skills. No,
yeah.
And so these are our plans. I mean, that's all we can go through right now, and that's what we're going to be starting, hopefully, in the next couple months.
Okay, number 4. Do you homeschool? Yes. Currently, we're unschooling. I have homeschooled all my children except one, and we've pretty much done it all. We started out doing traditional homeschooling, where I actually bought a curriculum for each course and stuff. Huh?
Online.
Yeah, we did the online schools, which is basically public school at home. Right now, we're kind of doing a combination of unschooling, and I have stuff to do, Charlotte Mason type schooling, which we're going to be working on with him. And I mean, our focus with Seamus, with him being autistic, traditional schooling is very difficult. And we are doing more of an interest-led learning with him. And oh my God, the kid, you would not believe what this kid can do.
His skills, I mean, at 7, he was already coding for game programming and stuff. I mean, so
yeah,
it's phenomenal.
And he's the only kid left that we have
Right.
that is of age to homeschool. Jared's 19. He's done. He's going to be getting his GED soon. But yes, I've homeschooled on and off since 2001. So it is definitely something that's in our homesteading family. Number 5, how many animals do we have?
Presently, pets, cats and dogs. That's it. This probably I would like to look at late spring. I've got to get the livestock areas for, we plan to have chickens. We want to have pigs as well. Leslie's talked about some bunnies too. She's interested in that.
Goats.
So, and possibly some goats too. So, I mean, just general, whether we go the route for beef, still undetermined yet. Have to get the property still developed.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, we are still on raw land.
Yeah.
We have so much to do yet. Within the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting a tractor with some attachments and stuff, so we can start grading.
Well,
we need to do that desperately, especially our driveway. Yeah. But I mean, in our last homestead, we had almost 6 acres. We had a big shed that we used as a chicken coop, and we had chickens and turkeys and rabbits, and then our huge gardens. And we never got into any other animals, though we had planned on it. So,
unfortunately, I was having to work full time and all that, trying to start all that. So, you know, that made it difficult to really get hard pushed into it. But now, I mean, it's our focus.
Yeah.
So
we hope by summer we hope to have chickens.
Yeah.
By the end of summer we hope to have pigs.
Yeah,
so that's for sure this year.
Yeah, we want to do layers. We do want to do meat birds as well. So I mean, we do want to have both types.
And we plan on having chicken tractors for the meat birds. Yeah. And we're still formulating how we're going to do the layers and stuff. All right. Number 6, do you prefer goat milk or cow milk? Well, I've never had goat milk, so I don't know. I am lactose intolerant. I've never tried raw milk. I'm hoping to try that soon, very soon. And we'll go from there. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've had both. I mean, yeah, goat milk. It's just, you know, I guess the easiest way. It's a richer type of milk. I mean, I've had fresh out of the cow milk too at breakfast. I mean, because like I said, I've worked on dairy farms and stuff, and you know, any given day, I mean, once we got done in the milking parlor, usually a gallon or 2 was taken up to the house right then, and that was, you know, put out at breakfast time. So I mean, for me, I mean, fresh whole milk, I mean, doesn't get any better than that. So
if we're hoping to find sources for milk, local sources for milk, until we can get our own. All right, number 7. Does your homestead make money? If so, how? Well, currently no, because we're just starting. Really, the only way we had of making money was through YouTube, but
Well, the focus, isn't on the focus in my mind is providing for the family, everything that's developed from it.
yeah, and
I do have some aspirations in the future, to help, doing those things and help them bring in some extra income. But I'm not looking to have, a large ranch. Don't have one, but I'm looking just to.
we'll probably sell eggs and stuff like
well,
that.
We've done that before.
Yeah,
Our last one, you sold
eggs and bread and baked goods and stuff. I had a regular clientele.
Oh yeah.
And I was selling.
You were selling 20, 30 dozen a month, typically.
If not more.
Yeah.
And then like 20, 30 loaves of bread at least, and bagels and buns and stuff. So, I'll probably start doing that too. It's difficult where we are now because we are in Amish country and there's an Amish farmer.
Oh, I still say we can do that, no problem.
Yeah.
We know plenty of English, which, hey.
I also have an Etsy store where I sell my crafts. And, once we get the house done and things are more done on the land, I'd like to sell my stuff and stuff that Scott makes because he's a woodworker and he can make a lot of things. Because I do crocheting, I do journal making, sewing, all sorts of stuff. And in each specific group, there's a lot of different things that he could make, that quick and easy crafts that he could come up with that could also earn money for the homestead. So, no, we don't make any. Oh, I make a little bit here and there with my crafts, but other than that, not right now.
That's the focus. We have to get the homestead established first before we can take that step.
Right.
So, which that's where we're at right now. It's just getting
we're at the beginning.
Yes, we're building the homestead right now, and then from there, that's where we go.
Number 8. What advice would you give new homesteaders? Read, and then more reading.
Yeah.
Research.
And what of all that research, everyone's going to have advice. Take from it what you will. Apply what works best for you in your situation. You have to go about it that way because how one person does it, where they're at, with what they have, may not in any fashion or anything else work for you and what you have and where you're at.
Well, there's so many variables.
Yes.
Where you live, what your climate is like, what animals do better in your area, what plants do better in your area. There is, unless you're talking to somebody that lives in the exact place that you live, there is no set answer for everything. There are generals that you can go by, but then you expand from there.
And something you can guarantee. Every day, there will be a challenge. But, what inspires so many people in doing this is that those challenges come up, but they don't look at them as challenges. They look at them as opportunities to resolve those problems, and you work through that. They're not roadblocks. They're just every day you work through each one, and then you build on that. So so many people look at it as it's so hard, but going down this road, it's full of bumps. Either you gotta find your way around those bumps, or if you let them stop you, it's gonna just build and build and build on you. You just gotta find your way around them, and keep a mindset that instead of looking at them as problems, you just have to look at it as, okay, you're gonna resolve the issue in front of you and then move on.
Yeah. And the thing is if you don't like hard work, don't become a homesteader. If you're not willing or capable to do creative problem solving, don't become a homesteader. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. I mean, it's a lot of work, but the thing is,
it has a lot of rewards.
Yeah, the rewards are greater than.
You know, I always looked at when I spent 35, 40 years in my trade that I worked at, doing all that hard work, which I loved my trade. I loved my trade, but I was working, doing something I loved like that for other people's gain. Doing this, I look at it, this is all for me and my family. All this effort, all this hard work I do is all for me and my family. And that's, I mean, gives me such a better outlook on everything, you know.
There's a lot of stuff going on YouTube right now about what makes a homesteader.
Oh.
And the thing is that homesteading is what you make of it.
Right.
I mean, there is no set in stone definition. I mean, if we go by the definition of what a homesteader was originally, I mean, that was defined by the government of people who were trying to populate the West.
And the trouble with trying to go by that, people have been doing this in urban areas for a long time already. They have been doing this in city limits for a long time already. I mean, so
where you live,
it's not geographical.
Yeah,
which makes you a homesteader. It's not geographical.
Because we were homesteading in Parma.
Yeah.
And we were in a big city.
It's about what your outlook for providing for your family is. It's not geographical. It's not a kind of equipment you have. It's not. It's a mindset. That's it.
I think it's a mindset of self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes right down to it, that's what it's all about. And, you know, you can homestead anywhere.
Yeah.
You can homestead in an apartment building and have a garden out on a balcony and be making your own food from scratch and, you know, maybe have a cow share out in the country or something. You know what? It's
exactly
doing what it takes to make yourself and your family
self-sufficiency.
Right. It's self-sufficiency. And you know, that's the focus. So no matter where you live, no matter how many animals you do or don't have, if you want to be a homesteader, it's about learning how to take care of yourself.
Right.
Okay. So the things that you need to focus on is your basic needs. What do you do to take care of yourself and become as self-sufficient as possible?
It's, you know, developing the skills. What skill? I mean, every person is different. Each person knows what their natural abilities are, but there are many ways you can enhance those skills, whether it's, you know, reading videos, local knowledge, whatever.
Taking a class.
So I mean, whatever means you have, because that's going to just give you greater ability to succeed. You know, you have to work on your skills. That's one of the most important things. you know, and realize that's what's going to make things happen.
And the more skills you have to be able to sustain your life, I mean, there you go. I mean, that's what it's all about. And if you're lucky like we are, you have someone who you have skills that intersect, and then you have skills that complement each other. You know, I have skills that he doesn't have. He has skills that I don't have.
And really the funny thing, you know, it just popped into my head while I was growing up, and I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of people who have similar backgrounds and stuff can relate. I mean, growing up in a small town that I grew up in, doing the things I did in urban life, you know, the funny thing was, you know, and getting into the trade I did, you know, it gave me the opportunity, you know, to, you know, natural as a kid, wanting to go out and see things and all that kind of stuff. And then once I got my life going and doing that kind of stuff, all I wanted to do is return to it, you know, and that's just, I guess, one of those life things, I guess, because you always, what's out there, it looks so wonderful and all that, but once you get out there and you think, gosh, I just, I want to go back to how things were, you know, and it's just, you know, it's amazing that way how life can be a lot of times.
And I'm the opposite. I want to go back to where I never was.
Yeah.
So, but we complement each other. Okay, so we're going to be doing some other collaborations, but that was the What Inspired You to Homestead collaboration. So I hope you liked it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe. We need subscribers. And don't forget to ring the little bell next to the subscribe
Notification
button. Yeah, it will notify you whenever we put up a new video.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.